Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. I know it feels like forever. I've missed you guys as well, but we're back in business, baby, and ready to rock and roll with actually some good news on the horizon. If you are, in fact, a member of the Maha movement, which I am, don't forget you can get your Maha Moms Club coffee mugs, hats, whatever you'd like over at saramerch.com. This next one's for you, okay? saramerch.com, Maha Moms Club. I know we need to get the dads in there. I know. I need to talk to our graphic designer and tell him we need to stop being discriminatory against the dads. And there are some Maha dads out there as well. But, you know, when we talk about the Maha movement, I think one of the main criticisms that I have had about Donald Trump has been that Operation Warp Speed happened under his watch. And while he obviously was not like in there with a coat, right? Like he's not wearing the white coat over there with a little beaker testing things. That's obviously not his job. He has to trust people. And those people, unfortunately, did not have the country's best interest at heart. But he really, by and large, had been very unwilling to question Operation Warp Speed until now, apparently. This is something that a lot of people in the America First movement have been clamoring for. Let me show you what President Trump just posted to Truth Social. He said, "It is very important that the drug companies justify their success of their various COVID drugs. Many people think they are a miracle that saved millions of lives. Others disagree. With CDC being ripped apart over this question, I want the answer and I want it now. I have been shown information from Pfizer and others that is extraordinary, but they never seem to show those results to the public. Why not? They go off to the next hunt and let everyone rip themselves apart, including Bobby Kennedy Jr. and CDC, trying to figure out the success or failure of the drug company's COVID work. They show me great numbers and results, but they don't seem to be showing them to many others. I want them to show them now to the CDC and the public and clear up this mess one way or the other." Now, here's the key for me. He says, in closing, I hope Operation Warp Speed was as brilliant as many say it was. If not, we all want to know about it and why. And of course, he closes, "Thank you for your attention to this matter." But that last part is so key. I mean, there was a good amount of us who were vilified. We were censored. I mean, we were called all sorts of names in the book because we questioned Operation Warp Speed and we questioned the vaccine. And for President Trump, who previously was not willing to even, during his campaign, he was bringing out the founders of Johnson & Johnson. Like, it was something that we were like, bro, how do you not understand that we are not happy about this? Now, all of a sudden, he's admitting, I hope it was as brilliant as many say it was. If not, why not? Everyone wants to know. This is huge, you guys. This is a huge step forward. I mean, let's just take a little trip down memory lane here and remember, we had a certain Anthony Fauci who got the auto pen pardon. A pardon for a crime, which who knows? Isn't it strange to pardon someone preemptively without him being committed? There's any crime that they've accused him of. Isn't that so strange? It's almost like they know something could come out. And you just remember how Anthony Fauci would use these scare tactics to make everyone get this unproven experimental jab because it was the only way to stay safe, according to Anthony Fauci.
If you're vaccinated, you don't have a risk. And that's the reason why we say it's as simple as black and white. You're vaccinated, you're safe. You're unvaccinated, you're at risk. Simple as that.
Simple as that. You're unvaccinated, you're at risk, and you could kill everyone around you. Remember, don't kill grandma. You're vaccinated, you are totally safe. And by the way, the vaccine that you're taking, which shouldn't qualify as a vaccine, but the vaccine that you're taking is totally safe and effective. Remember, that was the tagline, safe and effective, except they kept moving the goalposts until none of that was true, because then they even had the then CDC director at the time, Rochelle Walensky, which, don't miss her. She's like, oh, Actually, you can still get sick if you take the vaccine. Actually, it turns out it might not be all that effective, and it could be that it's causing more harm than help. Oh, by the way, you might get a heart condition. You might die of myocarditis, but you won't die from COVID, so you're good, right? Remember that? Operation Warp Speed was the fastest we have ever developed a vaccine. Remember, they did all of this under the premise that this was an emergency. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And the only way that they could get this emergency authorization to happen and push Operation Warp Speed forward was if there were no other treatments or protocols for this so-called emergency, which there were, and they buried them. Never let them forget that. And I just want you to look. When we talk about Operation Warp Speed and President Trump coming out and saying these drug companies need to prove to us what they've been claiming. They need to prove to everyone what they've been claiming. Was this really safe, effective? Were the results actually great? Let's see. Go ahead. Show us. The COVID vaccine revenue that these vaccine manufacturers made. 2021, $36.8 billion from its COVID vaccine for Pfizer, and a quarter of that was just pure profit for the company. And then you have Moderna, $18 billion with a 66% profit margin. So they took about $12 billion just straight to the bank. Okay. Now, you're talking about these two companies that in 2020, as far as Moderna goes, it didn't even clear $1 billion in revenue. 2021, look at that. Oh, $803 million, $803 million to boom, $18.5 billion. Which I guess tends to happen when you have Joe Biden, the tyrannical Biden regime, forcing Americans to take an experimental jab. You tend to get billions of dollars in profit. When you tell people you have to take this or you can't feed your family. Oh, and by the way, your tax money is paying for it, remember? We have a public-private partnership now. It doesn't really matter what you think. We're just going to keep paying these people for these doses of a vaccine that we don't know if it works. And these companies make billions of dollars. Now, the fact that President Trump is looking at this, the fact that we now have RFK Jr. at the head of HHS, you've got the left who is unsurprisingly hysterical about this idea. Perhaps science involves examining results. Perhaps we should actually critically examine the results of the Operation Warp Speed experiment. Oh, no. We can't have that according to the left. You've got a bunch of former CDC directors who banded together to write this hit piece in the New York Times. We ran the CDC. Kennedy is endangering every American's health. Okay. Let's see this byline. Oh, a bunch of people I don't know and have never heard of. More on them in a moment. You have other idiots like Dr. Dimitri Daskalakis, who's quitting the C. He's resigning in protest. He won't be seen with this CDC. He was, after all, director of the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases until he quit in protest. He was in charge. Let's look at Mr. Dimitri. Yeah, this guy can't be seen with the likes of RFK Jr. After all, he's got a reputation to uphold. Now, that reputation, I'll let you decide. This is the guy who was in charge of keeping you safe. And this one actually doesn't show there was a picture of him floating around with one of those little, what do you even call them? Stephen, do we know what, I don't know what chest kink things. I don't know. I don't remember
which picture you're talking about. So
but the little vest thing that he was wearing. Do we know what that's called?
I don't. You're asking the wrong person for that for sure.
The chest kink things.
Let's go with that chest kink thing. I like
chest kink things. They kind of look like a seatbelt, but they're not. He's got one that it kind of looks like a pentagram that he's got on his chest. And so that's the person that you're supposed to trust, right? And I want you to just listen. This is the guy who I'm sure sides with all of these people. We ran the CDC. Kennedy is endangering every American's health. Okay, so you've got people like Dimitri who had some of these great ideas like, I don't know, when we were talking about the whole monkeypox epidemic. Here's what he had to say.
Stigma tends to be a barrier to testing, a barrier to vaccination. And so, really addressing stigma intentionally and making sure that we get the word out in a way that supports people's joy as opposed to, calling them risky. So I think, one of the things to think about is that, one person's idea of risk is another person's idea of a great festival or Friday night, for that matter. So we have to sort of embrace that with joy and make sure that folks know how to keep themselves safe.
Right. So when it comes to dudes fornicating with each other, it's just a good time for some people. When it comes to someone who doesn't want to take an experimental jab, we don't allow them to go to their schools. We don't allow them to go to their churches. They're not allowed to participate in society. But when you talk about contracting monkeypox, which, I don't know, takes a lot more social interaction than contracting COVID. Listen, I'm not a scientist, okay? I don't work for the CDC. I'm not a doctor. But I'm here to tell you, contracting monkeypox takes a whole lot more social interaction and bodily fluids exchanged than contracting COVID. And when you were gonna contract COVID, when you ran the risk of contracting COVID, they wanted to tell you if you didn't take this rushed experimental jab, that you were going to A, die, but B, more importantly, kill grandma, so you couldn't participate in society. Now this guy's like, don't kink shame. We gotta call it Mpox. We don't want the stigma. Come on, you don't want to be rude. So these are the people that they want you to trust. They think that you should trust them over RFK Jr. at what, like 70-something years old, who's doing 100 push-ups and 50 pull-ups in 5 minutes? Those are the people instead who think that you should trust them. You should be upset that we are actually examining things critically. These are the same people, mind you, who brought you, let's say a 42% obesity rate, a 60% chronic disease rate. Let's see, like 6 in 10 Americans have one chronic disease, 4 in 10 Americans have 2. Those are the same people who brought you those disease rates. They brought you a childhood chronic disease epidemic. They brought you the lockdowns during COVID. They said it was a good idea to put arrows on the floor of the grocery store so you make sure that you wouldn't pass anyone. Everyone needs to go one way in this aisle and then you can go back down this aisle. But if you forgot your olives, you got to go all the way back around because you can't go that way. Okay? Remember, these are the same people who said the virus can live and you can contract it if you're standing less than 6 feet apart. If you're sitting, the virus doesn't know it. If you're sitting and you're eating, it's okay, right? You couldn't get alternative treatments. They said you were not allowed to. They wanted to censor people, doctors who had a different opinion. They said that you needed boosters for life. These are the same people who allow poison in foods. They allow literal poison in foods, things that Europe and Japan and other places have not allowed for decades. They still want to allow that poison in your foods. It is making America sicker. These are the same people who said masks work. Masks work. It's fine. Masks work. Oh, wait, except they don't. Natural immunity, it works until it isn't, until it doesn't work, until it's not a thing. Remember, natural immunity was not a thing anymore during COVID because they wanted you to take an experimental jab that they claimed was not experimental, but it was. Vitamin D, not a good thing, according to these people. You need to take a vaccine so that your neighbor's vaccine can work better. Don't ask any questions. No, don't question the effectiveness. Don't worry, they work. But they work better. I mean, your neighbor's vaccine works better if you take the vaccine. But it's science, okay? Don't question the science. So we're supposed to believe those guys, the dude with the shit all over the... Thank you. I don't even...
You don't know what that stuff's called?
No.
It's got like the princess tiara thing on the far right there.
That is not. It's not.
It's the guy. It's the guy from 300, right? Who was the bad guy?
I think that guy would be really insulted that you just said that. I think that guy would be horrified that you just compared him.
He looks just like him. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's like Village People member. I don't know. He's way worse than that.
Trump would be offended at you right now.
This is the guy. This is the guy that the New York Times says you should trust instead of RFK Jr. This is the guy. So what if someone wants to get Mpox? Don't say monkeypox. Is it racist or homophobic? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah, it's probably both. You're right. Don't trust the CDC now. Don't trust the fact that they want to examine critically whether or not things work, which is part of science. Don't trust any of that. Trust that guy because he resigned, because he's really upset about RFK trying to find out why the hell we're so damn sick. I don't know. Maybe because we're taking advice from this guy. Maybe, call me crazy. Maybe the guy who thinks monkeypox is cool and is showing up to, I don't know, photo shoots like that. Maybe that was our first mistake. I don't know. Am I crazy? You guys let me know. Let me know in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed. By the way, Sara Gonzales Unfiltered on YouTube. Let me know in the comments. Am I the crazy one? Is it me? Am I taking crazy pills? Because I look at that and I'm like, oh, this guy was running the agency. No wonder we're all sick. You want that guy to be in charge of your health? By the way, the funniest thing he said in that interview that we didn't get to was that he said that he was in charge of like working on HIV. And I'm like, oh, you don't say. I would have never thought that you would be in charge of looking at anything related to HIV. God, that just blew my mind. I never would have guessed. All right, make sure that you are subscribed. Hit the like button as well. It'll help us in the algorithm, which we all know is stacked against us. We've got a jam-packed show, a lot more to get to. But we want to thank our sponsor, First Relief Factor. So there are a lot of people who live in pain and they think this is just my life now. This is just the way things are. Don't be like that. Try Relief Factor. It's worked for me. It's worked for so many people here in this building. And what it is, a lot of, you know what? I'm going to be discriminatory for a second. A lot of men hear that it's all natural. And they're like, oh, doesn't work. It's all natural. No. But it does. It's actually a very potent, all-natural anti-inflammatory that targets the inflammation in your body, which is where the pain comes from. So if you can get rid of the inflammation, you can get rid of the pain. It's not just going to mask it. It's going to eliminate it. Try their 3-week QuickStart. It's $19.95. They've got a guarantee. So you've literally got nothing to lose except your pain. You can get that at ReliefFactor.com. It doesn't come with all these, I know the picture's so pretty and there's like blueberries and stuff. I don't think the package comes with blueberries, but what it does come with is 3 weeks of Relief Factor. Take it. If you are in pain, it can be life-changing. ReliefFactor.com is where you can get that. ReliefFactor.com. I'm joined today by someone, it's his first time on the show, and I don't know how it is that you haven't been on yet. We've got Gary Faust. He's also known as Street Gonzo journalist. I met him through my good friends, the Drinkin' Bros. And I do have to ask, Gary, you were on Alex's show before, just like right down the hall from here. Did you wear a shirt on Alex's show?
Yeah.
I see you a lot on videos and you're not wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if I was like, oh, he dressed up for me.
No. It's this is such a professional environment. I thought I'd wear a shirt. No, I'm just getting my act together, cleaning it up a little bit.
Sure. I understand.
That's what I'm telling myself, at least.
Right. Well, I encourage everyone to follow Gary. Honest to God, you're so funny on the streets, but really you are getting things that no one else gets. No one else wants to go into these places. And I want to talk about some of that, but I do want to talk first about, kind of go back to what we were talking about, or what I was talking about with the CDC, because we were talking on break. You just said, dude, you're all fired up about an experience that just happened to you regarding health.
Yeah.
Tell us.
So I actually just came back from Michigan. I was up there with this company called Transcend. They do like hormone testing and stuff, hormone replacement therapy, testosterone and things like...
you don't look like you have a problem with your testosterone.
Well, no. I just went up there because they'd heard that I had a heart attack when I was 29 and I have all these drug problems and I'm trying to get off of amphetamines and opioids. I'm on day 5 of opioid clean completely.
Really?
Yeah, that's actually
Of all the days to have you on, Gary.
Yeah.
How's everything going? Are we good?
I'm good. I'm
Great.
doing very good. But when you were talking about the CDC before and you're going on your rant about it, I respect that because I'm from the epicenter of the opioid epidemic, Dayton, Ohio. Montgomery County was the #1 county in the country when I was in high school for opioid overdoses and deaths. And I watched basically Big Pharma kill everybody around me. And it was not only opioids, it was also things like Adderall, prescribing kids Adderall. I was prescribed Concerta, which is an amphetamine salt, when I was 14. And until like 3 months ago, I pretty much had been taking it my entire life.
Right.
And that disrupts your endocrine system. And I'm going through the process of learning the science behind all that stuff. And I think that people need to be more pissed off about it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's why it's in, and what you're talking about is like a whole nother issue from what I'm even talking about with the CDC, because you're talking about the adolescents, the little boys who are being drugged in this country for no freaking reason, because little boys are not meant, by the way, to sit for 8 hours a day at school. And they're like, oh, he has problems sitting still. You should put him on amphetamines. And it's like, that's not at all what we should be doing.
Yeah.
But the doctors say that you need to, and the doctors are the experts. So the parents trust them. And then now you're left with like what you're talking about is you're traveling to go get all these tests done with these companies to figure out what the hell they did to you all these years later.
Yeah, and that's why you were mentioning all these issues people have: obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer even.
Yeah.
That's all connected to this. I mean, our food is all poisoned. I was just in Europe, and it's like night and day. The food over there is completely different, and you don't get that feeling of, brain fog or the lethargic. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's interesting. So I've never been to Europe, mostly because I'm terrified to fly, and so like getting me on a flight that's only a couple hours.
So you'll do all this other crazy shit, but you won't fly?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I'm not saying it makes sense, Gary. I'm just saying that it is what it is. And so, but everyone I talk to who goes to Europe, they'll even say like, people who are gluten intolerant here will go and they're like, I ate all the breads, I ate all the grains, nothing happened, I was totally fine. I have people who are like, I stuffed my face and I came home and I had lost weight, which would never happen in this country. So it's a problem.
Yeah, we're being poisoned by our food, our water, our drugs, everything. I mean, and this is all stuff that's meant to help us.
Right. You kind of have, and you need it to live, right?
Yeah, and like you said, with when I was younger, I used to blame my parents for putting me on all these medications, but really the school kind of forced them to. They're like, oh, this kid can't sit still. He's talking back to teachers and roughhousing and getting in fights. And granted, I was definitely an exception because I was a pretty bad kid, but I don't think that's the answer.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is, I was much harder on parents until my point to kind of awaken on that was Chloe Cole, who is a detransitioner. She's probably 19 or 20. She might be 21 now. I don't know. But she is very young and cut off her breasts, did irreversible damage to her body because she got brainwashed into the trans cult. And I'm like, I always thought like, why would you let your kid do that? And she's like, they told my parents that I was going to kill myself if they did not affirm this. The doctors. So imagine if you're a parent and the doctors are going in, they're telling you your kid's going to get kicked out of school. They're never going to be anything. They're never going to, they're going to kill themselves. They're going to have this. They're going to have that.
You care about your little kid,
right?
And that's the power apparatus that exists is telling you this is what's wrong, and this is how to fix it,
right?
But they're full of it, and it's so obvious now.
Yeah,
and I'm glad people are realizing that. Anyways, I didn't mean to.
No, I appreciate that. No, I appreciate that because I mean you're right. I think, and that's why like I get so mad, and people are like, "COVID happened in 2020. Get over it." And
COVID was a complete scam.
Yep.
Did you get this? You didn't get it, did you?
What?
The shot?
No. No. Oh, I was like, what shot? Oh no, God no. No.
I can't believe people got it.
No, I know. Listen. I mean, I tried to inform people as much as I could, and then it's like, I don't know, but we have, I know Steven's in there, we have a family member who shortly afterwards got this like turbo cancer and just recently passed away, and it's like, it's like you think back and you're like, that was probably connected. And it's really hard to like really still to this day to think about. But okay, but I had you here to talk about something completely different, which is
more tangents.
Yes, well, maybe, I don't know.
Probably a lot.
Is you've got 2 documentaries that are coming out, or have they both come out?
No, so the flood documentary, I just cut the voiceover for it the other night. It was a lot to process because I'm not really one that's in touch with my emotions.
Yeah.
So talking about dead kids and damage and devastation like that, it took me longer than I was expecting to. And I sent you all a sizzle. It's maybe a 2 or 3 minute, just a little sizzle of what it is. And actually, the voiceover for it was what I originally recorded, and I get kind of choked up. And it was a lot. But so we got the flood documentary.
Okay.
That should be out in the next few days to a week. And then we also are working on something that I really want to talk a lot about, which is the Puerto Rican power grid and PREPA and bankruptcy and what is pretty much looking like modern day piracy in terms of, lawyers robbing the Puerto Ricans blind.
Yeah, and that's something that, when we talked about that, and you said, well, I've got these 2 documentaries that I'm working on, and you mentioned the Puerto Rico one. And if I'm being honest, I deal in news for a living, and I really hadn't seen anything about that.
It's real bad. I was actually in the same boat. I didn't realize how bad it was that they've been going through blackouts and
how bad
surges.
Are these? How bad are these blackouts?
It's insane.
Like they're just without power?
It's like all the time, almost daily in some places. And in the rural areas, like out in the mountains, some of these people's houses there's people missing roofs for 8 years. Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. It's dramatically worse than I thought. And I'm sort of ashamed to admit this, but I think sometimes I forget that Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens and Puerto Rico is U.S. territory.
Yeah.
So it kind of hit me in the gut,
Right.
And I was blindsided by it.
Sure.
In a certain capacity because we should be taking better care of our own. What the hell is going on?
Wow.
They're becoming third world.
Yeah.
This is part of America becoming third world.
Right. And which, to your point, like this is American territory. And it's, again, I was like, oh, Puerto Rico.
Nobody knows about it because
no
nobody goes out into the mainland, or into the inner island, I should say. When we were out there, one of the women that we met, she runs a nonprofit called Island Corps, and she's like this 5 foot tall Puerto Rican woman, angel on earth, just the sweetest lady ever. And she took us around to all these places, and we saw some crazy shit. And while we were driving back, she goes, "You're the only mainlanders who have ever seen this." And I was like, "Oh my God!"
Wow.
So now I feel this sort of immense pressure to get this right, but I think we nailed it. We're working on it right now. It's going to take a while, but. Anyways.
Okay, good. Well, then let's go ahead and play. I know we do have a little bit of a clip here from the Texas flood documentary that you did. Let's watch some of that.
I'm going to get swept away immediately.
I woke up, and then I saw these lights like fireworks. Walked out there and looked and saw the transformer cracking and then saw the water.
What we normally consider the giver of life became a mass murderer. Over 100 people, among them dozens of little girls from a local summer camp, gone forever. Murdered by Mother Nature. The brutality of which is nearly impossible to describe. So we quantify it. 134 dead, 40 missing.
He passed away while he was trying to save his family, trying to break the window out to save his grandmother and his wife and kids, and severed an artery and bled to death.
Some blame climate change, some point the finger at Trump, and others whisper of cloud seeding and government weather modification. Whatever the reason, it's now been over a month, and there are still 3 human beings missing.
I don't know if it's because I'm like native Texan or just, I don't know if people outside of Texas feel the same way, but it's really gut-wrenching even just to watch that. I can't imagine what it was like to actually be there.
Well, when we're there, it doesn't really faze you because you're focused on what you're doing. But when we go back through and watch all that stuff and talk about it, kind of gut wrenching.
Yeah.
There's a mentality amongst Texans that is I've never seen anywhere else in my life. I'm from Ohio. I lived in California, Southern California and Northern California, and I lived outside of Nashville, and I've traveled all over the place. And I've never been anywhere where there were so many volunteers from everywhere. People sleeping in their trucks to go look for dead bodies.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty intense. So what happened here with this, what the purpose, I think, of this documentary ended up becoming was originally we wanted to show people the damage and the devastation and how everything went down. But by the end of it, it turned into sort of a homage to the victims and to highlight the spirit of, the Lone Star State. And there's also some stuff about cloud seeding in there that I don't think people are aware of. So I added that in.
Good. No, I'm glad.
Are you familiar?
Well, I don't know what you put in there, but I do know that the state of Texas participates in weather modification. And I do know that there was some things that happened. I mean, we talked about it on the show. There were some things that happened a couple days before all of this that I talked to what's the guy that owns the company? I forget his name. Yeah.
Augustus Dorico.
Augustus, thank you. I spoke to him a little bit, maybe a week or so afterward on an X Space, and he swore up and down there was no way that could be the case, blah, 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 blah. That's all I know.
Right.
But I mean, it seems to stand to reason that there are some things here that don't make sense. So we should maybe be looking more into that.
I'm not going to say that he's at fault for it, but I will say that he has no reason to tell the truth.
Right.
He has every reason to lie and protect his assets and say we only put, so many grams of silver iodide in this area.
It's a few Skittles worth. That's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah, but I also don't think that there's any evidence to say that he is directly responsible.
Sure.
Or even a fall guy. But what I can say is that the U.S. government started looking into cloud seeding as far back as 1946. And there was a meteorologist, Vincent Schaefer, and other scientists at the General Electric Research Laboratory post-World War II, researching why aircraft would get ice on them in flight. And they were doing this research because of possible military application, right? And they accidentally discovered that dropping dry ice into a cloud could create precipitation. This is in 1946. That's 80 years ago.
Wow.
So the technology might be further along since then.
Right.
And actually, there is evidence of this. And what happened was they accidentally discovered this, and then the U.S. government was like, "Whoa, what are you guys doing over here?
Right.
Let's reel this in. Let's see what we can do and use this against the Soviets in the Cold War." And so they kept doing research, and then in 1967, between 1967 and 1972, there was a top secret operation called Operation Popeye. And they were using cloud seeding in Vietnam and successfully flooded the Ho Chi Minh Trail to basically jam up supply routes and jam up Viet Cong logistics. And some American journalists from the New York Times exposed this. And the defense secretary, I think his name's Marvin Laird, he denied it. He said, those are just wild tales. And then the story hit the front page of the New York Times. It was undeniable that it was happening. So there was a convention at the UN, 1977, and they banned weather modification. Now, this is why this is important. You don't ban something unless you can actually do it, and you're not going to ban it unless it has been misused or has the ability to be misused.
Right.
So I'm not saying that this happened in Texas.
Right.
What I am saying is that it is possible, it has been done, and they did lie about it.
So make of that what you will.
Yeah. Make of it what you will. I'm just here to tell you guys the information because I can't verify whether Rainmaker or the U.S. government or anybody was actually involved in that, but it is totally possible. So when the mainstream news outlets say, well, this isn't possible, they're full of shit.
Yeah.
Again.
Right, exactly. When you were telling that story, I was like, wow, that was back when the New York Times was actually reputable and to be believed. That was a long time ago.
I mean, look at why do you and I even have a job?
Right.
Because we were born in the wake of the fourth estate crumbling and falling apart and things like U.S. aid and all this other bullshit that shows that they've been bought and paid for and it's propaganda for years. And all the seeds of this, what I refer to us as called the fifth estate. The fourth estate was supposed to basically be a watchdog over the three branches of government. They're the fourth branch. They failed. So now we have to not only watch over the government, we have to watch over the fourth estate, which is the mainstream news. And it's just, they're garbage and they're paid for. And even if they were paid for, you can be paid for, but still do the right thing.
Right.
They're not doing things that are pro-America. They're not doing things that are helping anybody.
Right.
And everything they do is moral posturing and virtue signaling and selling ad space. Yep. And funny enough, when we were in Kerrville covering the floods, Texas Monthly reached out to me, and actually the woman that did the story, I think she actually nailed it. I was nervous. I thought she was gonna smear me a little bit, but she did a really good job. I did an interview with her, and she was talking about how people were upset that independent journalists and social media people were out there, like myself, were out there covering this because they were saying, well, you're making money off this. Well, what do you think the mainstream news does?
Yep.
They make money off of advertisers, off of tragedies.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Use your head, man.
And they're not even telling the truth. So yeah, they're trying to use your tragedy for clicks, and they're not even telling the truth.
Hey, you see how I caught myself?
Yeah, that was good.
Producers,
you're growing, Gary.
Yeah, I'm doing really good lately. Been minding my P's and Q's.
Okay, so tell everyone before we have to go. Tell everyone, where can they stay tuned? Where do they need to go? Should they subscribe to you to be able to find the documentaries?
Yeah. So the documentary for the flood is going to be on Drinking Bros, and everything else, all the clips and stuff, are all on my Instagram on Street Gonzo. Okay. I also wanted to talk about Puerto Rico. Do we have time for that?
Well, Gary.
Puerto Rico, we have a documentary coming out about Puerto Rico, the power grid, and how there's some lawyers that are basically extending the bankruptcy proceedings of PREPA, the Puerto Rican Electric Power Authority, to make money off that. I had to include that because
I'm glad
it's messed up.
I'm glad that you did. So let's do this. When I want to see these, and I want to have you back, and we can talk more about it.
Yeah. Well, we have so much we're working on that it's like we're.
Yeah, I know, including one that I was a part of, and I never.
Well, that's.
You already did it?
No, we've been recording the entertainment documentary.
Yeah.
We've been recording it for 5 years. We probably still have another 2 years until.
Oh my God! I wanted to see myself on it.
Massive. It's massive. You look good.
So make sure that you're following Gary. He's doing great stuff out on the streets. Make sure that you're not easily offended. But if you are, you already don't watch the show, so it's fine. If you watch the show, you're good. Make sure you follow Gary. He's out there getting content nobody else wants to get. And I appreciate you being here. Will you come back soon?
Yeah, well, I'll come back to talk more about Puerto Rico because I can be long-winded, but the Puerto Rico stuff's very important.
Well, let me off air. Let me find out when you're leaving, and we'll see if we can figure that out sooner rather than later. Okay, all right. Before we go, I want to tell you guys about Kindred Harvest. So, we talk about China and how dangerous it is to have a lot of stuff made there, but I don't know if you realize that tea, most of the tea that you find at the grocery store, it's made in China, and it's got microplastics, heavy metals, toxins, the same shit that Gary and I were talking about. Sorry, Kindred Harvest, I didn't mean to curse in your... Listen, the point is, Big Pharma does not care about you. They don't care how sick you are. They don't care because it's cheap when you get it over in China. Kindred Harvest is all natural tea blended and packed right here in the USA. There's no microplastics, there's no heavy metals, and it's third-party lab tested, so you know that you are drinking something that is safe. Go check them out. Do not put your family's health in the hands of China. Okay, choose Kindred Harvest. You can go to kindredharvest.co. Use promo code Sarah for 20% off. That's kindredharvest.co, promo code Sarah. It's a party here today. We've got back on set Jaco Booyens, Blaze TV contributor, and of course founder of Jaco Booyens Ministries, along with Eric July, of course Blaze TV contributor and founder of Ripaverse Comics. Welcome.
Yeah, it's good to be with this guy.
Absolutely. Good.
And you.
I was going to say, what about me?
Well, I get to see you. Yes, that is true. That is true. But I do get to see you more often than I get. It's seldom that the three of us are together.
I know.
Which is great.
And it's like, I was just talking about COVID back in the first segment. And it's like, we were together almost every day during COVID.
I think we did 3 shows a week.
We managed
4 shows a week together.
Yeah, it was like 3 shows a week minimum.
Yeah.
No one vaccinated. None of us died. Isn't that crazy?
It's kind of
Funny how that works, isn't it?
right over there.
Speaking of
This is Ghost Town, by the way.
I know.
Skeleton
'cause
Crew.
We were the ones that they were like, yeah, if they die, we won't.
The Expendables.
Speaking of dying, President Trump,
Oh my gosh.
the left was really excited. There was like a gleam in their eye. You know, usually they have the dead eyes. I think it's because they take too many SSRIs, but they usually have the dead eyes. And there was like a glint in their eyes over the weekend because they thought that President Trump died, which is a little weird, little strange, little evil. August 30th, Donald Trump was the #1 trending topic on X because they were like, we haven't seen Trump. He's not done a press conference. Trump is dead. 49,000 posts. Trump died. 17,000 posts. It happened. 110,000 posts. And sorry to be the bearer of bad news to the left. Sorry, not sorry. He's totally fine. But that didn't stop Tim Walz from making this comment earlier today. He was talking about being like excited, waking up and seeing news that he thought that Trump had died. Watch.
You get up in the morning and you doom scroll through things, and although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime, just so you know, there will be news.
Wow.
Breaking, people die. Okay, and?
Or is that his cowardly call to violence, you know?
Right.
Because that's what they really want. What a sick human being. I don't recall ever in this network or anyone here ever talking about wanting Joe Biden to lose his life. Just didn't want to do it in the White House. Go play Weekend at Bernie's at the beach.
Yeah.
Just didn't want you in the White House. Mm-hmm. It's sick. Mm-hmm. But they say the quiet parts out loud at least. So let them announce themselves.
Yeah, you know, Tim Walz, also 61 years old. You're no spring chicken either. And you don't look to be in good health.
That's
You're
a rough 61.
That looks like an 80.
That's a rough 61.
You're pretty fat. You look pretty, you look in poor
I didn't know
health.
that. If you'd have told me like he was like 73, I'd have been like, I make some almost sense. He just turned 60.
It says 61.
That's rough. That's like
Maybe
my
you
mother's
shouldn't
older
be-
than him.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't
You
be
live on the
making
dark
comments
side, it
about
shows.
that. Maybe you shouldn't be making comments about people dying when you look like that. Just saying.
Wow, that's so rough. That's news to me. That blows my mind.
It's like,
What?
This dude's not going to hang around. No, look, in politics, no, but isn't it sick though that they're celebrating the potential of a sitting U.S. president, you know, potentially losing a life, right? It's sick. But it wasn't, I don't know if you know this, but it didn't stop there. They started ripping through some other presidents, and then it started coming. Someone just mentioned to me, hey, Jaco, did you see? People are saying that Nelson Mandela died in 1986. I was like, shut your mouth. You don't even know what you're talking about. The guy's president in 1995, shut your mouth. Because there's so much going on that it's going to actually get really interesting in the future, knowing what's real, what's fake. With AI, because there's so many gullible, or may I say idiotic Americans that'll lap something like that up. 110,000
I know.
posts.
It happened.
There's a whole lot of stupid people in this country. Let's just be real. I mean,
Well, Joe Biden did get elected in the safest and most secure election of all time. More votes than Barack Obama. Nothing to see here. Those were definitely all really, really real votes. But I'm just saying, he did get elected, so there are a lot of stupid people.
There's no shortage of those guys at all. But it doesn't surprise me. I mean, we dealt with this through the first, his first term.
Yeah.
Right? There was a lot of people that wanted the absolute worst. I don't know what they think they're going to get on the other side of it, though. That's the part that I never understood. But to be fair, it's a time preference kind of thing. They live in the now, and if they can celebrate it, or if they feel that they can celebrate because the person that they have been told to despise more than anything ends up losing his life, well, they'll take that on as a victory. That said, like, even if you assume that, let's say something, even if you like stepped away or something like that, what do you think happens outside of that? You think like JD Vance is some like massive improvement? Like what exactly?
They're not getting Kamala.
Yeah, exactly. Like what exactly is the hope and the wish there? You're just gonna introduce a goddess more like a spring chicken and JD Vance. If that's what you want, okay, I suppose. But I'm not sure what the actual end game is. And to be fair, I don't think they actually have one. I think this is just their feelings really manifesting itself, or we're seeing it in a more blatant way. But I do think they feel like that among a lot of Americans that differ from them politically. And I know it sounds a little harsh, but that's the reality. Their preference is that, they prefer that you not be there.
But like the problem is that, like you said, they just haven't thought it far enough through.
No.
Like they don't think things through to the final extent. They're just like, oh yeah, Donald Trump would leave. It's not like, yeah, then you'd have JD Vance, you dumbass. Oh, sorry. Then you have JD Vance, you dummy. They don't think about that. They're just
like your giggles today. I like it. I'm
happy to be back.
I'd say this. I would say this. You're presuming that they think.
You're right. That's too far. That's too much. You're right.
Don't think.
I should have just stopped there. Yeah, no, that's a great point.
Emotion.
Well, did you see them freaking out about, Stephen, if you could take my screen here for a second, they're freaking out about this. There was a video clip from the White House and like they threw something out of the second story, which you can see right there. And they're like, oh my God, Trump must be dead. And they're what? Getting rid of his things by throwing them out the window? That doesn't even make any sense. So I don't know what that is, but they also have already said that they are going through renovations. So
you know what? They're also building a brand new ballroom.
Yeah,
you know what I would do if I was
Trump?
I would just say, guys, just all the young staffers, 22, would just go to all the windows and just start tossing crap. Just let them go wild. Consume the next 45 days of all their hours on stupid crap.
Yep.
I mean,
and just keep making the same moves that you're making, and they'll be too busy discussing their weirdo conspiracy theory. But remember, we were the conspiracy theorists for saying that the COVID vaccine, might not have been as safe and effective as they said. But they're saying that Trump is dead, except he's having a press conference today. It's fine. It's all fine. All right, we got to go to break. We'll be right back. No, Jaco's really, I'm sorry. We don't have any time left, and I still have so much to talk about with you guys because I've been gone. And
it's not because you've been gone. You've been giving the time to other people.
Oh my gosh.
Let's just be real at this table.
Second rate at this point, right?
Can we just blame Stephen?
No, we cannot blame Stephen. I'm standing for Stephen on this. Absolutely not blaming Stephen.
He's the one that's telling me we only have 20 seconds left. I can't help it.
That's fine. You can blame me. It's fine.
Aww,
I don't want
to. What a guy. What a guy. Well, I'm really glad to see you guys. I know.
Love you.
You're going to be gone, but I'll come back as soon as you can. Yes. You better come back soon.
Be here.
I'm happy you're here, and we will see you guys tomorrow.